Hey guys, and welcome from sunny South Florida, or not so sunny today. Um, in this video, I want to show you how we change the brake pads and the rotors on our Sprinter van. So first of all, we need to lift up the van. Got our car check here. And let me position this. And we lift up the van. And I have these little guys here to put it under the axle to secure it, just in case something happens to the car check. All right, so we have this on, and now we start removing the wheel, my adapter, and my pneumatic wrench. Of course, you can use a regular wheel cross too. It's just going much faster with this one. So, and the wheel is off already. Put this to the side. So here we have our rotors and the brake caliper. We have like 45,000 miles on it now, and you can tell that the rotor is pretty thin already. You can feel the edge here. So we have spacers because that our wheels sit a little bit more outside. All right. So next we will start to remove the caliper. First of all, I get off these little covers here on the back. Number one, and then there's one on the bottom here. This is number two. Cut these off. And then we need a 6mm Allen key. There's a bolt inside of here. So these are usually very hard to open, so I use a hammer to make it loose. Number one. And down here the second one. All right. I use a little wrench with 6mm. To get the bolt out. Number one, and the second one down here. Okay. Now I have my winch with a 21mm socket. So we need to loosen, I'll take out this bolt up here. And the same thing, it's very hard to get them off, so use a little bit of hammer. This one is loosened, and then there's a second one on the bottom. It's right here. So we do the same on this one. Yeah, they're very, very, very tight. And that's the first one. Now I get the second. Okay. Now I can turn it with my hands already. And get the second one out. So now I can remove the caliper. Probably need a little help to get it off. And here we go. So always bring a little box or something you can use where you put your brake caliper on so it's not falling, and you secured a little wire here. So because I got the bolts out, I can now move this. This is our sensor connector. So I can take this off. Make sure it stays here. So here are our brake pads. We're taking these off. Then you have these little clips here. You remove these two. It's very important that you get these off and replace them with new ones when you put new brake pads, because they put the right pressure, and so it makes it quiet and prevents squeaking and noise. So brake pads even still have some space to use, but they're already very squeaky when we're driving, so better replace them and replace the rotor. You can see it's really not in good shape anymore. So to get off the rotor, it's pretty simple. You see here's a little screw in there, and that is a Torx T30. So I use my impact driver. And just get this one out. And now use a little hammer. And my rotor should come off. And here we go. Rotor is off. And basically we are ready to install the new rotor. While you have the rotor off already, you can check all your little connections, wires, gaskets. If you have an all-wheel drive, it's very important. Check everything that is still in good condition. All right, looks good. And here we have our new rotors. I got Brembo rotors, what are basically OEM. They're just half the price than when you buy the same one with a Mercedes tag on it, but same quality. Let me show you the old and the new so you can see the comparison. All right, time to get the new one installed. Make sure to remove the little screw that it lines up here. And it comes with a new little screw, so you always need to replace this. This one actually comes with an Allen. Let's see. It's M5. This one is not a Torx. So we get this in. And there we go. The rotor is already installed. Now we will install this part to get our caliper back. And this just goes on, and the bolts on the back.
No new brake pads?
Yeah, and the bolt in the back goes back in. It's very important that you really take this apart, because otherwise you will not be able to get the brake pads and the new springs in properly. 1 and 2. Okay, to tighten the bolts that I just put in, I'm using my torque wrench so I don't over tighten them or have them too loose. And the factory specs for this is 20 foot-pound, or in Newton meters we're at 34 Newton meters. So I have to set this and then just tighten it to factory spec. And now we have our new brake pads. I decided to not go with the original Mercedes because, as I said, ours were making a lot of noise. So I'm going with the Bosch Quiet Cast. They're supposed to be better, so we will find out soon. These are my 2 new springs, and I have brake component, lubricant, and of course my brake pads. I can show you here too the difference. It's the old used one and the new one. Yeah, still have some meat on it. All right, now we get the springs in first. So this one. This one sits in here. And this one up here. Now take the lubricant and put it on here on the springs, on all 4 points. You're supposed to put this on every moving part, not on your rotors, but on every moving part of the brakes. All right. So now we put in our brake pads. And a little bit tight, but number 1 is in, and number 2 in the back. All right, so they're both in place. Now we have our caliper here. So one thing that we need to do now, because the new brake pads are obviously way thicker than the old ones, so we need to press the pistons in. That's very hard, so I use these little guys. And starting with 1. And then we need one for the second one. Make sure that they're all the way in. Otherwise you will have a hard time to get that back on. Alright. So that was it. Now we need to install our little wear sensor for the brake pad. So now we need to install our brake wear indicator. This just clips on here. And it's in. And now we install caliper. Make sure that the sensor goes through a little hole here. Comes out here. Always watch the little rubber gasket here, so it's nice and straight. And then get the bolt in. You can start with just the top one first. Just screw it in a little bit so it's holding it in place. Alright, got our wear sensor through here. And now put the bottom one in place. Put the bolt in. Taking my 6mm Allen wrench again. And let's do the top one. One. And number 2. And we put the covers back on that we removed earlier. So, last thing we need to do is clip in our sensor. It's in here. Clipped in now. And that's it. Rotor changed, brake pads changed, everything is back installed properly and ready to put the wheel back on. In my case, I will not put the wheel on right now because I want to rotate our wheels. Our Front ones are pretty new and they have way more profile on it. So I want to get them in the back now. So I will not put the wheel back on right now. I will rotate them, but this was how to change the brake rotors and the brake pads and put the wheel back on, and you're ready to go. I hope I could help, and I hope you enjoyed the video.